Keith, it's Sunday, but let's quickly touch on Saturday. What an exciting day that we had in those stakes.
Yeah.
Two champions coming back, defending and getting their crown in Eons and Hybrid Eclipse, which I believe was your top selection in the Caesar's Wish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hybrid Eclipse going nowhere
Yeah.
midway on the turn. Rocco was riding, no real response. And then finally, had some help up front. Finally, around the quarter pole, she started picking it up. Once she got her kind of outside that last eighth of a mile, she kind of kicked it in, one little tap with the right stick, and went on by the duel. She had some help up front, no doubt about it. Glad to see her back in the winner's circle. We thought she'd cycle back, but I didn't think it was going to be like that,
Right, right,
from
yes.
way back and really look well beaten. Eons eked it out, right? Palo Alto, I thought got the bob. I watched it a couple times that Eons got the perfect bob there, and some good stakes. The next one was
Excuse me?
the other one. Sparkle Blue.
Yeah, of course, Sparkle Blue.
Sparkle
But
Blue.
yes, of course. I just highlighting the two that are just defending from their last year's title. But yes, Sparkle Blue.
She was really
coming.
good.
She was coming in at a great form, and I think Graham just really highlighted. We had a bit of a softer turf yesterday. I think that's what alluded to it a little bit. And taking a look right now, we do have a good turf that continues on to today, Keith.
Yeah, that's Sparkle Blue. She kicked it in, and I tell you, we're going to talk about the track here in a second, but really good ride. We've got to relax in between horses. That's not an easy thing to do. Horses usually don't kind of respond like that. After that lengthy trip in between, shifted out and really kicked it on nicely. Yeah, we've got a sloppy track. The rain is hit. Turf good. Got that alert this morning, and like I said, this turf course has been holding up quite well. Let's hope the sun peaks its head out here a little bit later, but right now we're doing a little bit of muggy conditions, a little bit of lingering rain, but we'll get through this race card. I like the card again. No real super singles along the way. Like Summer Odds later, we'll talk about that one, but let's get cranking.
And things start in that early pick 5, of course, in race number 1. A nice pool already going at about $3,000 and climbing. In this claiming 16 for the fillies and mares 3 years old, which have never won 2, a mile and 16th on the turf. Keith, you and I both have Sink Scat on top. Let's go ahead and take a look at that effort back in May over at Parks for the 5 ace on the backside.
Yeah, we're kind of on the Ness watch, right?
Yes.
Ness one away.
Win. One away.
One away with 4 shots today, I believe. So looks like he might get it done here at lovely Laurel Park. But Sing Scat, this was going to be first time on the turf after the barn change. Had a try here at Laurel. Went up the Parks, was able to kind of walk the dog early. Kicked away. This was second time Lasix, first Lasix on the turf. And just kind of a steady drive there, hand ride through the final eighth of a mile. Sing Scat catches the field in which maybe Fashionetta will go ahead and show some speed, so she can revert to rating tactics. We've seen her do that down in Florida. But Jamie Ness, a little stat here. Last 3 years on the turf, 4 for 12, 33%, 6 for 12 on the money with the last out maiden breakers. That's what you got here, ROI 265. Getting plenty of play right now. Thought we might get a little value off that 8-1 morning line. We may not, but Hazelmore Beach is another one. You've got this identical picks as May 3, 9, 7, and 2. I think these 2, Sing Scat, Hazelmore Beach, are kind of the improving 2. You've got a couple horses that have dropped in. There are a couple droppers here today and Sing Along, Believe in Freedom. Proper Storm dropped down last time and ran well, but Hazelmore Beach looks like going the right direction. Comes out of a race 2 races back. It was a double key. You saw Gold Digging Broad. It came back and ran a 71 in an allowance on Friday. So I think facing the right kind, held well when a little bit of erratic beating Takatough, who came back to run well in a similar kind of, I know it was a maiden race, but similar type of horses. So we'll take the shot here. Hopefully we can get some prices on the 3 and the 9. Proper Storm makes that run into it.
As Keith Buesel goes 3-9-7-2, just as I do in race number 1. Race number 2 starts off the early pick 4 in this maiden claiming 45 for the straight 2-year-olds going 5 furlongs on the dirt scratch. And then number 2, Eric's Gift. You have the number 4 on top, Malinois for Kevin Boniface. Jamie Rodriguez gets the call here today. Really decent effort in that last time out.
Okay.
Excuse me, you have the 8 on top. Got that screwed up. Never Grew Up on the outside for Brittany Russell and Javion Toledo.
Yeah, I think a good first out. I mean, it was beneficial, closed in, speediness, kind of took a little pressure, went away. 16 for 37, 43% with the 2-year-olds maiden second out, 284 ROI for Brittany Russell. The barn just keeps rolling right along. And Never Grew Up, I think, will be poised to kind of move into this flow. We'll get some horses showing some speed. Obviously, Malinois moves up after the race surfboard had the other day. With all of that adversity, kept on very gamely. So keying up against the right kind, surfboard in the allowance. Malinois gets the services. Rodriguez, I think it's a little positive rider change. No, not Trotman, but Rodriguez, I think, is a solid rider. Will be put into this flow, and we'll see if that one can stick around. But Never Grew Up, I think, benefits from the debut. Dance for Green, you're looking at off track here right now. Sloppy track, bottom side, I see, yes, it's true. That always kind of piques my interest a little bit. Steady works by Irish Workry. The mare was quick. 6-time winner, won the debut at Charlestown. A couple other open length wins. Should be showing some speed here with the X-Men. 8-4-7-1 in race 2.
Race number 3 is an allowance optional, claiming 40,000, going 5.5 on the turf. For the girls, 3 and up, scratching the 4, 7, and 8. Keith, you have the number 2 on. You have the number 10 on top. On the outside, this is Starship Low Band for Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez. Again, Jamie Ness 1 win away from win number 4,000, but this one coming out of a decent effort, second try on the turf for 2023.
Yeah, I think she's going to get enough flow in here. Dulce Acre comes out, who I thought was going to be part of the pace. We'll wait for another day. But Starship Low Band out of that mile race, showing the speed, collared late. Winner comes back to win a state-bred stakes. A good try sprinting. 5.5, I think, is going to work. The turnback's okay here for Ness. I think we'll be able to drop in at some other speeds just to the inside. Afondi's going to be forward along with a Golden Effect. We'll see those two kind of get out into contention. I think Rodriguez will be able to save ground around the turn and make that kick. We saw that kind of move from Patty Cakes with the Ness J-Rod combination. But I think Afondi, we've got video of Afondi's last race. And this one, I mean, she's in very, very good form right now. 3 good races off the break. Hits the top last time out. Now, Rodriguez is going to stay true to Ness here. We're going to go back to Wesley Ho. And this effort last time out was really, really good. It's going to be able to go ahead and move up and collar Fast Lonnie. Goes right on by. Look at this. Just well handled, steady pressure to the wire. I think it's got to be tough right back with that stalking trip.
I was just watching her swish her tail when he got after her for a second, saying, hey, I've got this all in hand. So that'll be a nice one, as well as you go 10-9, 1-2. The one on the inside rail. Gastown Babe, Justin Nixon has been waiting for this one as far as trying to re-enter and get races going for this one. So eager to see this one for Justin Nixon with Horacio Caramanos.
I kind of like her with that inside trip today. Let's get out. Let's get a little bit of Poe. She was hung wide against a very good field. Roses for Deborah. Step back to run a 95 next time out in the 3 other than at Belmont. A clear winner that day. Has shown the ability to kind of sit just off of it, make the move in. I think we'll get the right kind of flow and dress into a good position before firing late. I'll throw a white knuckle flyer into the mix. Key around the 9 and the 10, though.
Exactly, as Keith Fusel goes 10-9, 1-2 in race number 3. Race number 4 now kicks off Keith's ticket of the day. His middle pick 4 that starts here in race number 4, Keith.
Yeah, I was just trying to find something that I could maybe work it into an affordable ticket. Early pick 4 looked like it was going to take me a lot of money, and I just don't have that. I don't have your pockets, Callie. And if you give me a loan, maybe I can play this early pick 4 ticket. Middle pick 4s, here we go. Race 4, if you can hit the all button do. I mean, you got an Uncle Lino on the rail. Crystal Pickett brought this horse in for some works. Uncle Lino's very good with the first. But I'll go 3, 4, 5. 6, 7 spread around in the 4th. Race 5, 2 and the 10 brushing and summer odds. 3, 4, 5, 8 in race 6. Another one I think is kind of wide open. Delegated going to take plenty of play for Russell, but I think is vulnerable. Singling race 7. Get some help here. Scratch the 4, the 5, the 7, the 10 is a key scratch, and the 13 is a couple of those main trackers, but uncorked. Look really good. We got a video. I'm going to go ahead and single that one. She looked really good up at Monmouth in race number 7. $20 is that ticket.
And the race number 4 also starts. Let's go from your ticket to my ticket.
Okay.
Different single, little bit of chaos here. Race number 4, I had to pick a single somewhere. I go in on race number 6, Takayo, which we do have a video on that one coming in race number 6. Race number 5, I go too deep with the 9 and the 10. But let's skip ahead to race number 7, and the reason I go wide, that is a nice allowance optional claiming 40. Plenty of scratches within that race, but still, I still think is a little bit of a wide open affair in that mile event for the girls 3 and up. I just think it's a bomb. That's a great bomb race. And then after that, I try and tighten it up with the 2 and the 6 in race number 8. And then in race number 9, I tried to cut some of these races down each race, but I just couldn't. So $43.20 ticket for that Rainbow Pick 6. Of course, it does begin here in race number 4. That big pool hit yesterday, and it does begin in this maiden claiming 45, going 5 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 2-year-olds. Keith, you have the number 6 on top or 7 on top, in Lucky Double Dawn for Hammy Smith. Gets Javian Toledo on the outside.
Yeah, a little shot here. You got a $5,000 purchase in a protect move here. Out of a mare, it was unraced, but produced some pretty good runners. So got this one cheap. A protect, I like it. Great Bulls of Fire in the family. Good Afternoon Oscar. 007, Table Jumper. 5 starters, 2 of 1 on debut. I like this move here. Outside with Toledo. Little shot, bottom side, Great Notion, off track, should be okay. But Takeo, a video, we've got video of this one last time out, June the 4th at Pimlico. I guess you could say is the one to beat. Has shown some pretty good form the first 2 starts after some slower breaks. Rushes up into to bid 3 deep into the turn, presses, and then things get kind of a little dicey here this last 1/8 of a mile as Capcom just kind of works outward, a little bang, a little bumper car going on here, a little hurting out. But Takeo digs in, maybe a touch of a hang late if you want to call it. But the blinkers go on, has shown the ability with some speed, needs to brake a little bit better. If he does, he could just go ahead and set sail in here.
As Keith Uso goes 7-6-5-4 there in race number 4, that kicks off his middle pick 4 ticket and the Rainbow Pick 6. And we will be right back to talk about the rest of Sunday's card after this break.
And they're off.
Welcome back. We return in this restricted allowance going 5.5 on the turf for the girls 3 and up to return to this rest of Sunday's card here. Keith, you and I both land on summer odds here. Diana McClure. Xavier Perez takes the ride on this one. It was decent effort in an off-the-turf event last time out.
Yeah, a little bit more experienced rider here, Perez. Butterfly gave some decent rides, but it's a weird race. You look at it, you get 5.5 on the grass. You think some of these horses are going to be wanting to lead. You've always got 1 or 2 that are kind of stone-cold speed types. You don't get it in here. This was a little tricky race, and seeing some of the races that Summer Odds has come out of, even on the dirt, it's been able to lay a little bit closer. And the turf try was good. Money's worth in that race 3 back where she rallied after a little bit of a early bump, came back to run 3rd in the Jamila. I think the X-Man's going to be able to kind of layer close. You got to time the run just right with her, it seems. Just hold enough maybe to the 3/16 and kind of let her go from there. I don't know how much of a sharp run she's got in her, but I think if she brings that race 3 back, that turf try, it's going to work against this group.
You also go with the number 2 in your exacta underneath from the outside to the inside, and brushing for Bernard Dunham gets Jamie Rodriguez in the saddle, setting up for a pretty good day for him, Jamie.
Yeah, I thought the starter try was really good. A little trouble. Good comment here. Weighted inside, altered out in bit. Has been able to show the ability, long or short on the turf. Proven. Rodriguez, I think, will get her into position. When you kind of need the speed from her, you can kind of get it sometimes. So don't be surprised if he sends up in there trying to lay 2nd or 3rd into the turn.
As Keith Fusto goes 10-2-1-9 there in race number 5. Race number 6, we go and back from a sprint on the turf to the dirt now. 6 furlongs on the dirt in race number 6. Of course, that jackpot super high 5. There's a nice little pool that is still continuing there if you want to get involved in that. And what a race it is. Maiden claiming 20,000 for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Keith, you have the number 4 on top. And Margie's fun son for Georgia Andriakis and Yomar Ortiz.
Yeah. Let's get Georgia Andriakis in the winner's circle. How about it? 9-2. I think that's about right. Good price there. Going to go 3rd time gelding. Comes out of a really fast race with trouble. Forced into the break. Had no chance after that. Freeze the fire Dillinger, who came back to win. who's the speed going to be in here? I think it's going to be Infinite Series and Prince Fire. I think this 5-horse ran really good in debut, caught in between horses, a little bit of a fade. We'll hang on, and if that one clears, could be gone in here. But Margie's fun son has made some strides. I think we get a little bit of a contested pace, has enough of a kick to run down this group on the drop from maiden special to 20. I get a little worried sometimes when barns don't have a lot of horses do this move. It scares me a little bit, but you got to strike sometime. You got to pay the bills. Maybe Margie's Fun Son can run these down.
You also have the number 3 underneath in delegated, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
Brittany Russell, Sheldon Russell coming back to ride from Delaware, and back here in Maryland today.
Yeah, we'll see 2 back in the sprint. Broke a little slow, a little tight start last time, so that's been a little bit of a habit. We saw her horse yesterday, the Short Price, get off a little bit poorly and never really picked it up. Delegated on a drop for Rapoli stable.
Yep.
That sprint try was good. Box and
Right.
Ben would be the favorite in here. Again, needs to get away a little bit better. Strop should get this horse a little bit better run into it. I think you've got the 2 on top. I'll let you talk about that one. Sweet Syntax. Interesting little move here when you look at the backstory.
Yep, let me get to excuse me for a second. I have a different note set, and let me just give me a couple of seconds to just get to that. Oh, there we go. With Sweet Syntax, Jerry Robb, Axel Concepcion, this is a half to Feed Esprit. You do, for me, and that says enough in itself, where Feed Esprit maybe needed a couple of races, was entered but scratched. However, putting in some nice works, especially those nice works of 48 and flat on May 31st and 5 furlongs in a minute flat, it pretty much, I like the move of that scratch that day, but also editorial, 4 for 11 with his first time starters so far. So 36% in the winner's circle, of course, for his first time starters. So it's interesting that they have Axel on this filly, so I guess he must have been working with her in the mornings, because you would automatically assume that Perez would have the mount on this one, but that doesn't deter me too much, so I'm just going to go ahead with the firster, the well-bred firster, especially with the sire, how strong the first-time starters have been doing so far.
For editorial. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Sweet Spirit Stables, that's who had Fiat Esprit. She was claimed. Rob claimed them from that, and now they say, go ahead.
They're on the
You're going to train.
bandwagon.
They're together
Yep,
now. They're
absolutely.
teaming up, and it could be dangerous. Jerry Robb, 5 for 11, 7 for 11 in the money the last couple of years with the 3-year-olds and up. The older ones, first-time starters on the dirt. This is a tricky little race. 4-3-8-5. I think the 8 could be tough. Comes out of a triple key race at Charlestown. The blinkers go on with an aggressive rider, a rider that can be aggressive if he wants to be.
Right.
Or no, should get a good gate rider. So this one will be part of that flow along with the 5. Prince Fire.
As Keith Fuso goes 4-3-8-5 in race number 6. Race number 7 is an allowance optional, claiming 40,000. A mile on the turf for the girls 3 and up, scratching the 4, 5, 7, 9, and 10. Keith, you have the number 1 on top. Let's go ahead and take a look at Uncorked in that effort over at Monmouth, which was a winning one back in the States for the first time.
Yeah, second time in the States here for Brittany Russell. First time was at Delaware, kind of on the front end, a little slower pace, and just couldn't quite hold on. Very game to the wire. But I love this run. This horse got position early from an outer post, dropped in, made a sharp move, 5/8, worked in between, and then takes a challenge and kicks away. And, that was a big move and a good internals. This horse very strong. I like the shortening back to a mile as well. I think with the positional speed she's going to show, she can just sit there and spy horses like Vibrant Judy and maybe Aziza, who kind of look like they want to be forward in here. Good effort. I think a corked right back merits a shot here in the 2 other than.
Absolutely, and you go from the inside to the outside. In the number 12 is, as you mentioned, Aziza, looking for that 3rd win in a row. I like the time. I like the spacing overall with this one. Going to be chasing for your speed here today with Toledo. When you have a speed on the outside, it's not great going into that 1 mile turn, but still, you just have to suffer with a wide trip.
Yeah, I think looking at who's kind of to the inside, Vibrant Judy, off of those, shown that sprint speed, freshening first-time Delacour, I think we'll go ahead and go. But as he's at 2 to 3 wide, maybe into the backstretch, go ahead and prompt. This is in very good form right now. And beat a horse, Tass, who's a multiple winner on the turf, a 2 other than winner on the turf. So Michelle Hemingway got this one in very, very good form. I'm going to think the one sits up just behind the speeds and spies them and makes a move into it. But Aziz is very game. Vibrant Judy's kind of that X factor. Second, off a break, going a mile on the turf, showing good works. Bernardini's, not the strongest turf, but there's something that Delacour likes here. Second dam was great at stakes placed on the turf. I'm going to use that one. I think it could be dangerous here towards the front. And Gisela, another one. Big try at Woodbine. A little rank early in that one down the backside. Finally settled. Let the leaders go on. Boy, when she shifted out, kicked on very strong to the wire, just moderate urging late. So this one off time, but we know motion with these turf horses.
Yep.
Very capable. You've got a little backstory, though, on Cork, correct?
Oh, I mean, well, with
You wanna talk? Yeah.
circling. I mean, if we're gonna circle back to Uncork,
Yeah,
sure.
let's go.
It just shows a little bit. So this filly's coming over from Sydney, from Gay Waterhouse,
Mm-hmm.
talking with Blake Shin and the owner a little bit. She's great at getting getting them first time out, but really couldn't quite figure out the distance for this filly. So
Mhm.
it just shows a little bit to Brittany of getting her hands on this horse after not a lot of time from that ship overseas, and you would expect a little bit more time with her, but they're just trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
But I loved the move to get her up to the front right away,
Yeah.
where they don't have their gate speed. While their gate speed, yes, can be strong, it's still not as strong as I think over here in the States. So for her to get this lead right away, and like you said, they weren't crazy fractions, so that did help her out a little bit. But it was that changeover from that Delaware to Monmouth action that really helped out. So Keith Fusel goes 112.32. They're in race number 7. Race number 8 is a nice effort. 6 furlongs on the dirt for the girls 3 and up in this allowance, going scratch in the 1, 5, and 8. Let's go ahead and take a look at Northern Glow from that effort back at Laurel last time out.
Yeah, another Brittany runner, kind of loaded again today. Shorter field, only 5 runners in total. But Northern Glow, shocked me, wasn't the favorite. You looked at the family, you went a little deeper, good. This one relaxed nicely, was able to split rivals, and closed sharply on a day that speed was carrying. We used that angle the other day on a horse. Watch this one the last 50 yards.
That's great.
I mean, she's rocking and rolling. She is ready to go.
He's just sitting.
I think that's a
Yes.
good little effort. They allowed her to get a little dirt kicked in her face, worked outward, got between horses. The number, comparatively buyers, there's a couple others in here that might be a little bit better. But this horse reminds me of a Brittany horse. I got a little note here. Royal Whisper of last year. Similar kind of style. Jumped up from a 63 to a 78 buyer second start. Enough flow in here. Parish Bell is probably going to be the one to beat on the front end for Jamie Ness. But that kick and that little education there, she faces maybe a couple more horses. I don't think it's going to bother her. I think she'll move up here second start.
On top of that, Sheldon not really asking much at the end there, as well as Keith Fusel goes 6-7 at 10-2. But just to touch on the 7, Berzina, I like how you have Berzina for Kieran McGee. This filly has just been on a roll, so might as well take that jump, right?
I think you've got to use Berzina. May 28th, inside was good, as I have a note. Caught 4 wide on the turn, made that lunge, just couldn't quite get up against a capable starter field. I think it works. Barzina is going to be very tough in here. You're talking about Jamie Ness's horse, the 2 Parish Bell. This guy works the conditions. He and Kieran, a lot of these trainers, they work the conditions well. Voided claim back in July, goes to sale, voided for 75, gets this one for 32. Little freshening, gets the job done at Delaware on a sluggish track. Really a big number. Looked at some other handicapping tools. It was big. Comes back. Didn't that next field works? It has it in for the claim. Nobody bites in that first. It was an optional first. Other than nobody bit. Now this is a much tougher field than that last race at Parks, but very sharp. 2 good numbers that work. Gets a little help with some of the speed coming out in Tamshar. Flirtatious last. Even Wink was going to maybe make that middle move.
Yep.
Going to be very dangerous, I think, up front. I go 6-7, 10-2. Freshie D'Argento suffered a tough beat 2 back. On Black Eyed Susan. They needed her there at a big price at 10-1. Brings that one back. There's Royal Whisper. I think will be very, very tough.
There we have it. Keith Fusel 6-7, 10-2. A nice race in race number 8. Race number 9 is our last race of the day. 5.5 on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up, and the starter optional 12-5. Scratching the 4, 11, and 12. Keith, you have the number 3 on top. Lucci for Michael Moore gets Axel Concepcion here today.
Yeah, I wonder, named after my man Tom Lucci up at Monmouth, maybe. I don't know. The old rider. Yeah. But Lucci has been really good. Couple big tries on Lasix on the turf prior to some other ones. has shown the ability to handle pressure. I'm looking at this field just to the inside. You got Cheers for Kitten. I got there's Lucci and Axel, who now this horse is dropping, shedding some weight, gets the bug today. Is he going to be able to kind of rate if he needs to? I think he does. If he wants, if those horses are just dead set on going to the inside, I think this horse has a rating gear. He's going to fight you. Wasn't really asked till upper stretch a couple races back over this turf course. I think he's tough right back. And there's his buddy Battle Bus. Battle Bus got a perfect trip last time. Again, with Forrest, should be able to draft in, get some cover around the turn, and bring that reliable kick that he's got. 3-8, 8-3 for me. I'm a Pharaoh. Could come running late, no doubt. Has back race on the turf that should work in here.
Keeping things exciting here all the way to the end for the weekend. There we have it, 3-8-5-9 for Keith Fustel in race number 9. And let's go ahead and dive in to those picks a little bit, starting with your value play, Keith.
All
in
right.
race number 1, Sing Scat, Jamie Ness, and Jamie Rodriguez going for win number 4,000.
They're hammering my value play. Yesterday was a Ness horse at 6-1.
Yes.
Somehow I don't know how it went off at 9-5. So NATO, Brian is doing the odds now. I feel his pain. This is what you go through sometimes as a line maker, and the public just went crazy on that horse. And again, right now, Sing Scat going to take some play. Everybody maybe the attention on Ness going for 4,000.
Sure.
But let's hope those odds take up for her in today's opener.
And your best bet of the day comes in race number 5. In the number 10, Summer Odds for Diana McClure gets Xavier Perez here today.
Yeah, gets the X-Man, and looking at the field, should be able to get great position. Just needs a good break around the turn. Take the rating. Try not to move too soon. X-Man's he's got plenty of experience. He'll know when to time that run.
Yep.
And I think Summer Odds got to be 1-2 if you're anybody else in there brushing. But I like Summer Odds a lot.
She's
today.
sitting
Yep.
on a good one.
Yep.
And speaking of good ones, an era comes to an end. We did have Cordmaker leave Laurel Park this morning, and let's tune in with a word from Evelyn and Victor Carrasco.
I would like to have him, get him to ride in a few more times, but things happen, and I'm glad that he's going to a very, very good home, healthy, as you can see, happy, trying to bite, and he's not laying down and sore or anything like that. So he's awesome, and I know that he's going to be in good hands.
Well, after this play, he goes to Dark Hollow, which is like, can't find a nicer barn around for him to spend some time there. So it'd be very exciting.
Are you going to give him a visit?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, Evelyn is in the van, probably unloading him right now as we speak. But just a nice farewell to a wonderful champion, Keith.
Oh, he's been phenomenal. I mean, he is owed a ton, and he's given a ton. And even that last race, he tried really, really hard all the way to the finish. So you got to give him credit, and they're doing the right thing. It's time, and let him enjoy his retirement.
The Connections were very happy with the way he walked onto the van, and we are going to have a little bit more in-depth viewpoint for you on that farewell from Victor and Evelyn in probably about late next week from our crew. But with that, we will head over to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratching to wrap up this Sunday's race card.
All right, good luck, everybody.